Do I want to get frustrated? Do I want to be in anger, annoyance? Do I want to be in a state of peace, a state of joy, a state of ease? I'm flipping it on its head, where I'm starting with, how do I want to feel? What kind of experience do I want to create? And then it's amazing that these things show up that allow me to get done what's important to me. And I try to choose that more and more often. I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling at peace, I'm feeling at ease. So my question to you is, how's your world showing up to you currently? Like, what are you noticing? Like, is the world, is it a bunch of fear? Is it a lot of things not doing what they're supposed to? It might be subtle, it might be small, but if you're paying attention, it'll start showing up. And the more you're consistent with that, the bigger and the longer it's going to sustain out in the world, regardless of what might be supposedly really going on. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm talking about how you live your life is how your world shows up for you. And I'm coming again from Tulum, Mexico, where I'm recording this. And it's been a really interesting experience in Tulum. So basically today I'm going to be sharing some of the experience I've had while being in Tulum. They're kind of going with the theme of how you live your life is how your world shows up. Because things have not been, easy, yet the way I've been dealing with it, things have been going pretty well, pretty easy for me. Whereas basically where I'm staying here in Tulum was I got connected through a great coaching friend of mine to somebody who lives here in Tulum, and I'm basically staying at the same place where she lives. And she's been going through some of the similar things I've been going through, and has not been having a great time, and I'm still relatively having a great time. So we'll get into that. We'll get into what I've been up to, including cenote diving and the challenges of maybe not exactly knowing where you're going to be showing up when you get to a new part of the world, and how that is and how it's different, and challenges that can come up and how to roll with that. And the whole point of this is so that you can have the world that you want to be living in. And that really has to do with how you live your life. Often we think, well, when the world is peaceful, when the world has things figured out, when the world's giving me what I want, when things go my way, then I can be happy, I can be peaceful, I can be kind, all these things. And it's complete bullshit. It's just not how it works. At least I found it doesn't work that way. I've spent, majority of my life expecting it to work that way. I eventually gave up and decided to completely flip it. And that's what I'm going to be offering to you, is to completely flip how you look at your life and your world. So, but first, let's talk about some fun stuff. So I'm here in Tulum, and Tulum has one of the largest networks of cenotes, which are these underwater, freshwater sort of cave systems. They're all kind of like underground rivers, water reservoirs. And I've been to Tulum technically before, about a year and a half, no, not even that, like 9 months ago, for a retreat. And it had a cenote in the property, and it was just, beautiful. Well, it was small though, because I mean, it's part of a retreat center. And did get a chance to go visit one and swim. This time I don't know, I was called to do some scuba diving. So you've probably heard me talk about scuba diving. If you're following my social media, Justin Wink, Ph.D. on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, then you've probably been seeing some of these pictures of me scuba diving, even some video possibly. So I was like, I think I'd like to do some scuba diving in a cenote, see what that's all about. And cenote scuba diving is it's kind of serious. So it did require that I have my advanced open water certification, which I have, because it's technically, you're doing cavern diving, not cave diving. And you might be going, well, Justin, what's the difference? I now know, so I can tell you, cavern diving is defined as you're within 200 feet of being able to pop up to fresh air. And 200 feet, that's what is that? That's like 60 meters, 70 meters for those of you listening worldwide, which is pretty far. It's pretty far. It's not super close, especially when got to experience it firsthand where I'm there and I look up and it's just cave wall. And I'm like, if I am within 200 feet of fresh air, I actually don't know which direction that is. So I'm going to trust my equipment, trust the guide I'm with. So, knowing that, knowing your equipment, being able to be calm, comfortable is all part of having the advanced open water certification. And it is so worth it because just the experience was phenomenal. So the for two things, the one was really cool was I know Barbenheimer, the Barbie movie, Oppenheimer's been a really big thing. I haven't had a chance to see Oppenheimer, but I did get a chance to see Barbie while I was doing my scuba diving. There's one of the little paths because one of the things they do is they create these lines where they literally tie a yellow line that is like sort of a safe path where you're not going to disturb because there's stalactites, stalagmites, and maybe little dangerous areas. So they have these lines, and one of the lines is called the Barbie line. And the reason is there should be a picture of this probably somewhere in my social media. They have a Barbie doll on at the midpoint of the line, and apparently it's been there for years and years and years. This isn't something special just for the Barbie movie, although they did dress it up, especially they put her in a nice dress to rock the red carpet underwater. So I did get to see Barbie, although not the movie. So that was fun. What was my favorite part was the dive into the deepest cenote I got to go down into, which is called the El Pit, which if you're not familiar with Spanish, El means the, pit is pit. So El Pit is the pit. And the pit goes at least over 100 feet deep, which is over 33 meters. And the deepest that we're allowed to go is I think they said the 90-foot mark, but we went to 99 feet. And what's really cool is you get to go through these various layers. So the first layer, which is at about 30 feet, is this halocline layer, which is where the salt water and the freshwater layers start to meet and combine, and it creates this very blurry effect where it's like, are my goggles? Do I have the wrong? Did I put somebody's wrong prescription goggles on? And it's just really trippy because you're just like, I can't see, things are blurry. And so that's the first layer where it's just like, okay, this is like entering another world. And then the next layer is at about the 90-foot point. It's this hydrogen sulfide layer, which sounds scary, yet it's just and remember, I'm scuba diving, so I have my own air supply. So I don't have to worry about breathing this in because I'm breathing the air that I brought on the tank with me. And what's really cool is this hydrogen sulfide gas, which is being released by bacteria, which are they're consuming. Oh, it's almost like in the spirit of that, I just caught a whiff of something. Uh, it smells like hydrogen. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. There's I'm in an interesting location, which I'll get into after the Cenotes story. So the hydrogen sulfide, it looks like fog. It's like a foggy layer. And what makes it even more fascinating is that the Mayans considered cenotes sort of the gateway to the underworld. And so with this fog and seeing there's like, decomposing materials, and it just has this stillness, this quiet, this dead-like, it really does feel like the gateway to the underworld. And to see the formations of the stalactites, the stalagmites, and just thinking about the history geologically and culturally of these places where, as at one point for these rock formations, that meant that these were not filled in with water at one point. So these were, empty caves, and then at some point they became filled in. And also in El Pit, there was some like Mayan pottery that was there. My guide said she's not 100% sure if that's authentic or maybe it could have been placed there, but she knows that there definitely are locations where there is authentic. And so there's a little bit of, because I believe it is well known that there were Mayans that, were phenomenal with diving into the cenotes with great breath control that could, go very deep and very long. Yet there's also, hey, maybe at one point when these weren't filled in, were there people using these caves, doing things? And so to me, I just find this all fascinating, all of these things, and it's just still gorgeous. So if you've ever been like thinking of doing cenote scuba diving or just scuba diving in general, I would recommend it. It's almost a very good forced meditation because you're required to stay calm, monitor your breath. 'Cause if not, you're going to go through all of your air and you have less time to dive. That brings me to where I'm staying, which is going to lead into the point of this episode. So now I'm going to be talking about what it's been like in the location where I'm staying in Tulum. I'm at this place. I'm going to say that it's this Ophelia Tulum Hotel. And yeah, I was connected with someone who's like, yeah, this is where I'm living. It's great. They've got co-working spaces, phenomenal pool, great internet. It's like gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm just getting refreshing because I believe thanks to all the noise cancellation that gets done with how I record this and my great editing team, you probably weren't hearing any noise, but there was an air compressor just going like crazy, like mad, and it just clicked off. So it feels so good to have that little bit more peace, a little bit more quiet, and it's hot here once again. And so I really got the marketing spiel, from the website, from the booking place, from my new friend. Yet when I get here, it's a completely different experience. For one thing, when driving up, leave the paved road and go into dirt road, and it's like this is looking like kind of like ramshackle type housing where it's just like slapped together, rough concrete, using any sort of materials. I'm just like, what? I thought I'm going to a luxury condo hotel area. What's this? Um, and then yep, roll up, there it is. So it's basically this manufactured luxury site in the middle of, probably what's been, for decades, just where people who've been able to get land, grabbed a piece of land, built some stuff on it, been living, doing their life. And I'm like, whoa, and the guy checks me in and he's like, yeah, you're probably not going to want to, walk around at night. During the day, you're fine. And oh yeah, by the way, there's power outages, and the power was actually out right when I checked in. It went on 5 minutes later. So it's in an area where I'm like, oh, I haven't been in an area like this and told not to walk at night. And there's it takes at least 10 to 15 minutes to walk to anywhere for coffee, food, groceries, that type of thing. Power outages, and it's like this is just not exactly what I was expecting. Um, Yet I'm like, what's the benefit? How do I want to live my life? Actually, my power is out right now. I found out last night it was supposed to be out for a few hours. Then this morning it goes out half hour before I was told, and then find out it's actually supposed to be out the entire day. My friend, her power was out all of yesterday, and it's also still out today, and she's furious. Understandably so, because she's got work to do where she needs the internet, and then probably has food and things like that, and a refrigerator, and so very frustrated, very annoyed, and she's been having issues, and she's been living here. So me, I'm new, I don't know, and she's went and had to go get another place already just so she could work, and she's looking to move out ASAP, and totally understandable. And with a lot of this, I've been, yeah, how do I want to be? Do I want to be like afraid that this is gonna harm me? That, walking around, do I want to be afraid that I'm gonna get hurt? Do I want to get frustrated? Do I want to be in anger, annoyance with having to walk around long distances? Or do I want to be in a state of peace, a state of joy, state of ease? And I try to choose that more and more often. And as I do that, what becomes available to me shifts. So it's sort of like, well, maybe there is something close by to be able to eat. And turns out, just like not even like a half a block away, there's a little restaurant. It's, look, it looks like it's in a shack, and it's one of those I walk up, And I'm like, is this place even open? And I go, hola, estás abierto, which I think is this open? And then this beautiful, you know, grandma, abuelita looking woman goes, oh, yes, yes, Google Maps. And I pull it up, and then she starts showing me, okay, I have carne asada, I've got quesadilla, I got tacos, and just, delicious food, just the sweetest service and low price. And it's like, okay, so this is like an experience I would not have had if I was not here. And then just getting to that experience, walking around, seeing people living in a different way that I'm usually not used to, and realizing these are just people living that life in a different way, just doing their thing, and I can be doing my thing. And I don't have to be afraid that something bad's going to be happening just because the roads are made of dirt and they don't have, things are up to US code. And then when it comes to the power outages, there's a little bit of like, okay, is this going to affect my work? I don't have to allow it. I can be confident that I'll find a way to get done what's need to get done, and then be open to, well, maybe I can find different ways to do things. Like, oh, maybe this is a good time to do my qigong, or this is a good time to record my podcast. And recognizing that, oh, maybe this makes me go out of my room and be in the common area where I've been able to interact with people and meet some people I otherwise wouldn't have if just the internet was great. And yeah, there's some things where it's like it's really hot, and I'm sweating. So I probably look like I'm, just coming out of a sauna or a steam room or something like that. I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling at peace, I'm feeling at ease, and I'm able to see that in the world. I'm not buying into the world's not working out for me, that then I don't get to be feeling the way I want to feel. I'm flipping it on its head, where I'm starting with, how do I want to feel? What kind of experience do I want to create? And then it's amazing that these things show up that allow me to get done what's important to me. Because again, the previous episode was about vision and commitment. So I'm committed to doing this podcast because I want to get messages like these to those of you that listen and watch the snippets or the videos. So I'm committed to that. I'm going to find a way. And so that's why yeah, this was not the planned time I was going to record this, but again, I don't have internet in my room. I've got internet out in this common area, which is where I would have recorded anyway. So I'm doing it. I'm making it happen and enjoying it. And I'm looking forward to, like, okay, let me go find some other places to eat, to try the food. Or there's a couple places I've been that have been great. Maybe I'll return back and try something else. And so just really getting to enjoy the experience. It's different than if I would have just gone with what I thought was the way it should be, how I think the world should show up for me to be able to enjoy things. But when I start with, how do I want to feel? How do I want to live my life? What's the state that I want to be in? And then I start to see all these opportunities showing up. So my question to you is, how's your world showing up to you currently? Like, what are you noticing? Like, is the world, is it a bunch of fear? Is a lot of things not doing what they supposed to, which is what I would say is obligation? Or is there things that are not right, things that are wrong, shameful, full of guilt? So again, is your world filled with fog, fear, obligation, guilt? And if it is, I'd go, look internally. Like, how are you living your life? You're probably living it based off of motivated by fear, obligation, and guilt. And that's why it's showing up in your world. How can you flip that around and start loving yourself, finding ways to go through life with ease, and then finding the joy in this very moment, right now? And again, it might take a little bit longer than is comfortable for that to start showing up in your external world, but it might be subtle, it might be small, but if you're paying attention, it'll start showing up. And the more you're consistent with that, the bigger and the longer it's going to sustain out in the world, regardless of what might be supposedly really going on. Really going on. Yeah. So regardless of what's really going on is how you feel about it. Because really kind of what matters is the experiences, the emotions, the feelings. And with that, I'm going to wrap this episode up before I lose my connection and my ability to record again, which I think is just another demonstration of I could be getting frustrated, I could be getting annoyed. Yet when it goes out and I have to take a pause in the recording, I just use that as a time to relax and enjoy and be ready for when it's it's time. So I'd highly recommend my book, Engineered to Love, Going Beyond Success to Fulfillment, now available on audiobook, on Audible, and other places you can get audiobooks for ways to live a life of joy, ease, and love instead of living a life of fear, obligation, and guilt, and allowing your world to show up that way, because how you live your life is how your world shows up for you. So make sure to check me out on Justin Wink, Ph.D. on all the social media places. Reach me at podcast@justinwink.com if you want to email me some questions. So with that, thank you so much and good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wink, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives.